Hello, my name is Marnita Harris, and I am the Vice President of Economic Equity and Inclusion here at the Detroit Regional Chamber. I am happy to be here today with Tanya Hill, who is the President and founder of Forever Fresh Disposable Products, and also she's a partner and Vice President for Parodies Lagardère
Yes,
at, at the airport at DTW. So, how are you today, Tanya?
fantastic, Marnita. Thank you so much for asking me to chat with you today.
I'm so glad you were able to join this series. Your voice is important, and I wanted to just start off by my first question is: can you just take a moment and talk a bit about yourself and just give me a little bit about yourself, your background, and your organizations that you lead?
Yeah, so I guess I would be a serial entrepreneur, an inventor, so to speak. I developed and patented years ago a disposable undergarment, Forever Fresh, and we added a line for children called Tidy Fresh to that product line. We service about 35 states, schools across the country in those states. And so young girls who have men's accidents, children in daycare who, have accidents, they all have them, they buy our products through 3 distributors. And so we've got a pretty streamlined process to run that part of my business. The other business, which we'll talk about today, I am a partner and vice president with Parodies Lagardère. We have a joint venture together at Detroit Metro Airport. And we own and operate about 16 food and beverage concepts, a mixture of local and national brands. In this Detroit Metro Airport ecosystem, there are probably about 86,000 employees at Detroit Metro Airport.
Mhm.
And we employ about 500 of those folks at the airport. I'm also very, very passionate about giving back the way I can in my community. I am involved with 3 nonprofits, the Warriors Trust Fund. We provide support services for combat veterans who are going through the Oakland County court system. So
Okay.
we provide funding for drug testing for them, transportation to get back and forth from the courts. And we also provide a yoga instructor to kind of help them, with their
Yeah.
PTSD. I'm also a board president for the Heat and Warmth Fund, very passionate about thaw. And of course, you see my golf pendant
Yeah.
here. I'm a golfer, love golf. I am also the president of First T Grader Detroit, where we teach kids life lessons through the game of golf. So between all
Wow.
of that and
And
my
a board
business,
member at the Detroit Regional
and
Chamber.
yes, I'm a board member at the Detroit Regional Chamber. So
Yes.
I just love being involved and supporting, where I can and just, lending my time and talents, and my treasures, wherever I can do that.
Wow, that is great. And see, that's why I love doing these because I learn more about everyone, and that
Yeah.
is just great. It just coming up off a Veteran Day, and just
Yes.
really that is such important work. Very important work to look
Thank
out
you.
for our veterans. So
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Okay, so with that, I want to ask you why, and this is, I guess that's a good segue with everything you're doing in the community and employ 500 employees at DTW. Why does economic equity matter to your
Wow.
organization and
Well,
and to the Detroit region?
yeah. Well, first of all, personally, it matters to me because I really, really live by the credo lift as you climb. That's very important to me. We want to make sure that people that live in this area reap the benefits of this area. We want families to thrive. We want to give opportunity to people that traditionally get looked over.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line is whatever job you do, you should be paid for it. You should be paid in a way that you can live and support your families.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to have a diverse workforce in our environment. I think that's critical because that's how you learn. So I think just having strong families that creates a strong region,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't thrive from a regional perspective if your foundations, which really are your families, if they don't have decent jobs, good paying jobs, and the opportunity to grow and thrive.
Yeah. Okay, so in everything you do, how has economic equity and inclusion helped your practices and your in day to day or throughout, working with folks in your businesses? How does economic equity and inclusion affect your daily practices or your initiatives?
I look at our operations and our people from that lens all the time.
Oh,
No matter what situation we're in. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you remember when there were people were getting COVID shots,
mm-hmm.
and you know we had employees that rely on public transportation, a lot of them. And in my mind, I thought, well, it's easy for people to say, oh, go to take the bus or go to downtown Detroit, Cobo Hall, and get a free shot.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we have, young mothers, young fathers who don't have transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, well, how can we expect them? We're already expecting them to get to work with public transportation that's not always reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Now we want to lay this extra burden to go get your shot. So now you've got to get another bus to get downtown to get this shot. So I reached out to the airport and said, why don't we bring the shots to the airport? And here's why. And they thought, wow, we didn't think about that. So we actually, I helped initiate that program, and we got a Rite Aid to come in and set up times for not only our employees, but anybody that worked at
Right.
the airport could come right to the airport and get their shots. And so I think when we think about economic vitality and equality, you have to think about it on so many different levels.
Yes.
And sometimes, maybe people in our stratosphere, we're up here, we don't even think about those things. And so, but I'm very, very sensitive to that. So that's one of the things that we've done and we're very proud of.
Good. Because it's a lot of times we need to understand that we need to meet you where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, meet you where you are. So that's very important. What do you think um is missing from current economic equity initiatives? What is missing? What should we kind of like I want to say explode into the mission of the work that we're doing as it relates to business. Like what should we be doing and what is missing from the current economic equity initiatives?
Well, for me, just what you said, first of all, you got to meet people where they are. Secondly, you have to meet them in a way of respect. And you have to really, really, check your biases at the door. Just because a person may appear to you to be in a challenging position,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that they're there because they want to be there. Maybe they just haven't had the opportunity. Maybe they just haven't had the support that another person has had. I have employed people that have just been amazing from their talents.
Mm-hmm.
One of our musicians, for example, I've employed a lot of the music that you see, all the music that you see at DTW are employees of our group. And one of our musicians, believe it or not, came out of the IT world, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
He just, music was his love.
Mm-hmm.
And he carried that brilliance over into his music. He can play probably 7 or 8 instruments
Wow.
at a professional level.
Wow.
It does not mean because he didn't want to be IT that his talent wasn't valued.
Right.
And so we've put him there. He's great. Our customers love him, and he's flourishing where he wants to flourish. And so I think that we just have to be sensitive to the talents that people have, and really do everything that we can as leaders to help them reach their potential.
Okay, can you talk more about parodies? Talk more about exactly everything the employees do out at the airport?
Yeah, so we run restaurants.
Mhm.
We have like I said, 16, from anywhere from a Chick-fil-A to Cat Cora, Plum Market, PF Chang. So it takes a lot of people to run those restaurants,
Mhm.
from cashiers to baristas. We have the Illy Fountain Bar. We have
Okay.
Starbucks. We have one of the busiest Starbucks in Michigan that's in the Delta Terminal. Um, Probably 60 of our employees work at that one location
Okay.
because it's so busy. So we employ people at so many different levels, from chefs, sous chefs, managers, and we really enjoy promoting from within.
Mhm.
We had one of our chefs in our Air Margaritaville. I will never forget. I reached out into with the workforce development program and was able to get funding so that we could help some of our employees who were really, really struggling
Mhm.
financially. And this particular grant we were able to get, I was able to take those funds and buy coats for some of the employees and their children. And I will never forget, one of the employees, he had, recently been hired. He was a chef. He had, I think 4 or 5 children, and we bought all the kids coats. And the next year we did the same thing, and I was so proud of him because he said, "My kids don't need coats this year. I'm able to support them and get them myself." And that's
Mhm.
what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
We're trying
Mhm.
to, we don't want to be a crutch. We just want to help people, give
Yes.
them that little
Lift up.
extra push and support, that they need.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, if you was to give one piece of advice or several pieces of advice, what advice would you give to a business leader hoping to get more engaged in economic equity?
I think transparency, your people that you are relying on, they need to know that you're there for them and that you're going to support them, that you're going to find whatever resources that you can for them. And then you're also going to allow them to grow and give them the opportunities from within. And even bigger than that, if they outgrow you, wish them well and let them fly. I mean, I tell people that all the time when we have, sometimes I'll go in and talk in our employee, with our new employees, and I'll tell them, some of you are coming in here, you're going to meet people from all over the world. We would love for you to stay, but some of you are going to outgrow this and use this as a platform. I said, but whatever you do here, be the best that you can be, because you never know where that's going to land you. So I like people, that leaders that inspire people to do better and be better, and not just in a selfish way, just for me,
Right.
because you just never know. That person may grow up in your organization, they may leave and they may actually come back to you or send you someone that you need. So you just never know where the good faith will come back and return to you.
Well, I can just say for this time in this interview, I have learned a lot about everything that you're doing, and I'm so excited to know where um, you're making your footprints, and they're important footprints. You
Thank you.
know, we all get up every day and we walk into these board meetings and everything, but when you don't have these types of conversations,
Yeah.
you don't know all of the impact a person may. I know, and they can cut this, but this is just being being me. I know from my first meeting with you, I just was really inspired just by the disposal and how it's in so many schools. But see, this side I didn't know about. So you are really, really making an impact in the Detroit region. And I'm thankful. I'm
Thank
thankful for
you.
you. And to I just want to close. If there's anything else you want to close by saying as it relates to economic equity in business, I am giving you the floor to do so.
Well, I would just hope that businesses really focus on childcare, transportation in our region. That is a huge problem
Mhm,
for people who really do want to work. And I think as leaders, we really need to come up with something that's not piecemealed. And I'm speaking, a little selfishly from the airport perspective, but you think about a person
mhm,
working downtown that we have jobs here all the time. People just
mhm,
cannot get to them.
mhm,
And
mhm.
so we really need, as a region, to think about better ways of getting people to and from good jobs. And I think that's, to me, that's high on the list. And childcare would
Mhm.
be a big second, because if you don't have the childcare, you cannot
Right.
you can't be effective at your job and consistent.
Yes, and those were one of the two biggest things that came out from my Detroit Resident Voices survey that we did with Gallup.
Mhm.
Access to transportation, reliable transportation, and access to good childcare.
Yep.
Those are the barriers to employment here in the, well, especially in Southeast Michigan,
Yeah.
you know. And so, yes, thank you for saying that. I so appreciate you taking this time to share with us. And I just look forward to hearing about everything else as you continue to grow. This is so great. And if I could be of any support or assistance, please, please let me know.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.